Do you or do you not have limits? I think that as human beings, creators, gods with the little g, children of the Most High God, we are creators. We don't really have limits as to what we can create. However, we do have limitations. And there's a difference between the two. That's what I want to talk about here. What's the difference between limits and limitations? Limits, broad topic. What can happen? What are the possibilities? The limits. But that is directly or has a direct correlation to your limitations. What do I mean by limitations? By limitations, I mean your KSAs, KSAR, knowledge, skills, abilities, and resources. There's a story in mythology I think illustrates this perfectly. It's a story of Daedalus and Icarus. You see, Icarus got himself some wings, right? Feathers and wax, and they enabled Icarus to fly. So you have this young man who now has the ability to fly, and he is super, super excited about it, right? He wants to test his limits. So he starts to fly higher, and he received a warning. His father tried to warn him, son, don't fly too high. Right? But you know how we are as human beings. We like to push the limits, and sometimes nobody can tell us anything. We just rush into a decision based upon how we feel at the moment. I'll talk about that a little bit more in another video. But we rush into something that we're not really ready for. It exceeds our limits. So Icarus flew higher and higher and higher. The problem was he got too close to the sun. And as he got closer to the sun, things heated up and melt that wax. His wings fell apart. And down goes Icarus. Icarus fell to the earth or to the sea and dies because he exceeded his limits. Somebody would have said that mankind's not supposed to fly. We can't fly. We have a limit. But the story shows that there was no limit and we can fly. However, again, that's in direct correlation with our limitations, right? So let's talk about the limitations for a second. I won't keep you long, but KSAR, first one, K, knowledge. Anything's possible, but do you have the knowledge to make it so, to manifest that, to make it a reality? Do you know what you need to know to make it so? Knowledge is a limitation. In order to expand your limitations or increase your limitations and expand that limit, the realm of possibility, we got to continuously seek more knowledge, enhance our knowledge so we can do that. Skills. Good example of skills. Say you are a carpenter, or you have that skill, that carpenter. You've been doing it for 10 years. So you know what you're doing. You have the skills to get the job done. Technical knowledge, skills. You know how to do this thing. You have the skills to do it. You've done it before. However, now we have to look at the abilities, right? Are you able to do that thing? So in that example, what if you got hit by a bus a week ago? You have the knowledge to build a carpentry business, to gain wealth because money's your goal or whatnot. And then you have the skills to do that. You have the skills to pay the bill. But since you got hit by a bus, you're not able to climb a ladder. Therefore, you do not have the ability to do it. You know what needs to be done. You have the skills to do it. You just don't have the ability. And then there's the resources. Do you have the funds that it takes? The front money that you need in order to get this thing started, to kick that thing off? Do you have the human resources? Do you have the help that you need, the people that you need in order to make this thing happen? So we got to consider all of these things: knowledge, skills, ability, resources, and that is what sets our limitations. Anything's possible, provided it does not exceed your limitation. I'm not here to have a downer message or to cast a shadow on any hopes and dreams. It's the exact opposite. Anything is possible. But you have to expand your limitations in order to bring that within the limits of your limitations. I guess that's the best way to put it. But again, just like in that story with Icarus, sometimes we go through life rushing into things and don't really understand what we're getting into as much as we could anyway, as much as reasonable, and we don't understand the threats that are there. It's just like in business, right? In a business, in an opportunity, when you have an opportunity, when you're trying to run a business, there's threats in the marketplace as well. You got the good stuff over here, but then you got some bad stuff waiting for you too. So in short, my goal is just to put out some thoughts that came across my mind that would help someone who's struggling with that. They feel like they're being bound. They know things are possible, but they don't understand or can't understand why they can't reach them. It's because those limitations that you have need to be increased. So, on that note, do something to make yourself better. Not a day goes by that I don't do something to make myself better. Because if I know anything, I know this for sure. When you become a better person, your world becomes a better place. Peace.